This is my research design idea for Dr. Deborah Jensen's class. In this study, I will be looking at kindergarten students and their beginning of the year NWEA reading and math scores. I will be trying to see if there is a direct correlation between the scores and parental income levels. I am also checking if there is a difference between male and female scores. There have been many studies done about differences in male and female student behavior and maturity, and I want to see if this actually has an impact on kindergarten student scores. I believe this study would be very beneficial to teachers because it would give teachers a sense of where the child is actually coming from and why some students struggle when entering kindergarten. It would also give them an idea of how to help their students and why they might be struggling. Some examples may be vocabulary may be higher in higher income level families, parental educational levels, and maybe access to different resources. My research question is there a correlation between socioeconomic levels and student NWEA beginning of the year kindergarten reading and math scores? And my hypothesis is that there is a correlation between reading and math levels in NWEA and the socioeconomic level. My other research question is there a difference between male and female scores for beginning of the year NWEA reading and math? I do believe that there will be a difference in the scores. I believe that many times when looking at data, it shows that females mature earlier, and I think this will have an impact. In this study, I will be studying 35 kindergarteners. These students are from two separate years with the same teacher. The makeup is 17 girls and 17 boys. The students range from very low poverty level socioeconomic grouping to higher socioeconomic levels. I use the following levels. Level 1, 0 to $15,000 a year. Level 2, 15,000 to 30,000 a year. Level 3, 30,000 to 45,000 a year. And level 4 is $45,000 a year and up. I collected my data through NWEA website and through parental surveys. I used nominal data such as gender to do my difference study, and I did interval scales, parental income, to conduct a study on correlation using the NWEA scores. I did a correlation study to check if there was a direct correlation between socioeconomic levels and student achievement on the NWEA reading and math scores. I first collected the data and then I grouped according to the socioeconomic levels. My first chart shows the ID number, the group number, gender, reading scores, math scores, and income level columns. I did several t-tests to check the correlation between the reading scores and the different socioeconomic groups. The groups that were level 2, 3, and 4 actually weren't too far apart, but the level 1 socioeconomic group actually showed quite a deficit in their reading scores. When I did the t-test to compare the math scores with the socioeconomic groups, I found similar findings. The lower level, the level 1 socioeconomic group, tended to struggle again with the NWEA test. The other groups were more widely varied. However, the biggest difference was with the level 1 group. I then did a difference t-test to show if there was a difference between male and female scores and to see if it had an impact on their beginning of the year NWEA scores. This was the data analysis, the t-test graph that showed the gender difference relations, and if you notice, the scores are very similar. And when we look at the NWEA beginning of the year math scores for the male versus female difference test, I noticed that both of the scores again were very similar. So for the correlation test, there does seem to be a direct correlation between the students' socioeconomic levels and their NWEA beginning of the year reading and math scores. However, the most significant group did tend to be the level 1 socioeconomic group, which tended to have a deficit in their reading and math scores. In the differences test, I did find that the male versus female outcome was very different than what I thought. They were actually pretty similar scores. Although I did find there was a correlation between the socioeconomic groups and the NWEA beginning of the year scores, I do believe there needs to be further testing and studies to check if this is accurate. I believe the difference is not due to income levels, but due to home situations. The students with the higher socioeconomic levels actually had more access to resources. These students also tended to have parents with higher levels of education, which in turn helped with their vocabulary. And I think it needs to be researched further to see what actually develops faster with these children. I was also surprised to see the difference in the t-test actually showed that males and females have very similar test scores at the beginning of kindergarten. And this last slide shows my resource as the NWEA website.